I'm going to talk about a topic that tries to justify treating women like subhumans. So, what is fostering a woman's frustration? To state that, fine, we are having a conversation and I've asked you a question, but I'm told I should wait for you to feel ready to answer, or I'm told that I'm attacking this man for an answer if I insist he gives me one. And I'm not appreciating him and his needs to not give an answer until he feels like it, as if he's a child and not a grown adult. And even our children, we expect an answer when asked a question. But a grown adult male is to be handheld and allowed to behave toxic, or he's being attacked. And I, the woman, should have to wait 3 days for an answer from this man. And I, a woman, shouldn't then say, well, don't expect to get an immediate answer from me then, if I should give one at all, or I, the woman, will be behaving petty, not counting this man's pettiness in not providing an answer in a timely manner when asked. No, we shall just make excuses for him to behave badly and make a woman feel as if she isn't being supportive. If she would like a grown adult male to behave like a grown adult male in serious matters that concern the relationship. Putting it down instead to her nagging this man just by asking him to put in a solid effort to participate in the relationship that he obviously doesn't want but won't leave. As if a woman doesn't have a right to have the man she's in a relationship with be present in that relationship. He's not the only one that has life kicking his ass, but men behave as if life is only affecting them. Can't deal with simple stresses of life, but want to rule when you're terrible at managing your own stress. Falling way short. And is showing inadequacies in coping with life. The truth is, you are unable to deal with daily functions, so you force women to take the task you don't want to deal with and call it gender roles. Even though biologically, both genders are able to do the same functions. There is limitations to both genders, but even with those limitations, it does not affect basic comprehension and functions. Men are cooking, men are providing wonderfully, men are great fathers and very capable mothers. Men are emotionally intelligent, men are excellent human beings. So what is wrong with that group of men? Because we as women are expected to show every appreciation and devotion and love and understanding to them without them deserving it. So, what fosters a woman's frustration to behave in a similar manner as that man and what you all call behaving petty? Is it because of how we are exposed to men and their entitlement? Women use adult logic. That is what you are calling being petty. So we can encourage due expectations on men to make sure that if he is holding to his restricted ways of not trying to compromise, so that women can have communication in our marriage or relationship, he will not be granted the same expectations from a woman. Women are always expected to be the one to stay fluid, while the husband is encouraged to remain the solid wall that doesn't budge. So if a wife who is of the mind to try to conform her husband's ways, she can use these tactics of asking for reciprocal consideration from her husband. It's not used as a punishment for the man, but to try and make the man realize that she's not happy with his expectations of her folding while he takes and uses. A man's way of showing appreciation, I heard, is to take and use, I am told. And men call women self-centered and selfish in the face of that depraved behavior and willful disregard. And they have convinced this society that that is acceptable. And it is seen as acceptable of our man is supposed to act without being accused of toxic behavior. Really. Well, she's trying to change that mindset because she is tired of living with it. But men, in order to hold on for dear life to his male toxic conduct, now is accusing her of being vindictive and toxic and competitive. But not a word is said about a man's inability to consider his wife's feeling or his household needs. It is a marriage, not a competition. Yet some of you will say that in hopes of keeping the woman in a bracket she didn't ask for that benefits only males. But never use that same statement in regards to the man, proving first off that the man is the instigator. He's the woman's oppressor. Yet the woman is just supposed to not act the same, or she's once again being vindictive and petty. That is what proves that to me. It is being reasoned that the first person who does it should be excused from having it done to them. Or all a woman is doing is competing if she does. That is what society is trying to use to guilt the woman into being a doormat. A marriage or relationship is supposed to be a compromise of ideas and life. Not a woman giving up to her husband's benefit while hers gets trampled on as irrelevant, classed as nagging, annoying, and spiteful. Because she just won't let him be and must compliment him the way you would compliment your 5-year-old child. And like that 5-year-old child who never compliments back, because the fact is, at that age, he doesn't even know what a compliment is. So you as a woman should just let it go. But a man is not a child. And as an adult, he does have to act like an adult. He's not 5. He should not be expected to throw tantrums because he can't be bothered. While kids and life need to be monitored and steered for the household's benefit. But I find time and time again his reason for refusing to reciprocate a compliment is simply because he's too toxic and selfish to give it back. I see this as his way of owning that compliment for himself and his ego. Because if he has to give back a compliment, he will feel as if it's not all about him. and he wants nothing more than having it be all about him. That is a child's logic, not the thinking of an adult. And then he will complain that he's the only one giving compliments, when this lady knows he's only doing it to set up a narrative of her giving him compliments and never receiving those compliments back from him, setting the toxic cycle over and over again after that, only to have him complain of not being appreciated and complimented. Cycle, cycle, and repeat. So tiring. Secondary reason being that if he is keeping her stressed out, she can't function to challenge his authority. While each of us are overwhelmed at times and need a break and deserve one when it comes to life, it has manifested into men expecting that break every time and never considering that we should take turns at it so none of us experience burnouts. That is when it has been taken too far, and where we see now that men expect it as an entitlement of theirs, and women pushing back, and society writing excuses and rhetoric that proclaim that men are the only one deserving of that break, is when it has become a toxic expectation and needs to be pulled back to save the family home. Men have explained it as that generations of men before got to be catered to, so their generation deserve it. Well, think of it as generations of women before were treated like doormats, so now women are taking back their own rights. It's only fair. Past males got it, future women will now have it. Society always speaks on all men having a little boy inside, just wanting to play. Well, women were once little girls too. We weren't born big. And she's still also present and forcing us to place her in a corner on timeout so your little boy can roam free all day, every day, is selfish and misogynistic, entitled and annoying, nagging and overbearing, emotional, and PTS, pretesticular syndrome, coined by me, or is widely known as IMS, irritable male syndrome, which is a daily occurrence of fluctuations primarily of the diurnal cycle, where testosterone peaks and dips on a daily basis, affecting mood, energy, libido. And they talk about women who only experience this effect for 5 to 7 days out of the month. But they like to tell you that women are irritating and irrational. Talk about being willfully ignorant to set up a false narrative, projecting your daily fluctuations and moodiness onto the whole female population, to blame women for your IMSing. See, ladies, this is where good intention is being used against us. Because men IMSing is known. I don't guess widely because I didn't know. I wonder why. Until I looked it up. But this is where our good intention is being used against us by us trying to give leeway to males going through IMS daily. And we want to be considerate, and we do. That we don't even bring it up, this little known fact at all, because I didn't know, few people know, because it was embedded into the folds of society so far down that we didn't even question why we are told to give men a break. But I bet nobody told men to give women a break for our 5 to 7 days. Well, I'm not so forgiving to others who would use my kindness against me. Men are on a daily IMSing emotional tantrum, and would have women believe that we are the problem. Guess I know why they can't be communicated with, because they are literally incapable of being reasoned with all day, every day. What is IMS, you ask? Well, let me enlighten you, my sisters. Again, IMS means irritable male syndrome. I kid you not. It is a behavioral state in men characterized by intense irritability, mood swings, anxiety, and fatigue, often linked to falling testosterone levels or hormonal shifts, frequently likened to male menopause or andropause. It often results in sudden anger, decreased libido, and stress, depression, or fatigue caused by rapid drops in testosterone, often dubbed the male period. Again, I kid you not. So will I continue feeling sorry for men and their emotional instability and their daily IMSing? Sure, if men will stop making it look like women are the problem and step down. Then and only then, when this fact is being taught to men and red pillars and incels, and not the narrative that women are the ones with the adult brain, or is 7 to 5 days only men are daily, then I will consider it. How the hell did men having daily IMS think they can rule anything when their emotions are literally all over the place? I'm flabbergasted. I feel bamboozled, conned, gaslighted, and just plain wow. So we see now where the failure lies in leadership from this species. Everything said about women is about them. They are incapable. Aren't you males tired of going against females to cover up your fragile egos and not dealing with their IMS? Because they don't want to seem weak? Too late for that. I'm certainly tired of hearing the creaking of old bones going on about the same things, projecting while IMS and violence keeps you in destructive mode. Put your thoughts in the comment section and be as respectful as you can. And me telling the truth isn't disrespectful, by the way, so don't even come with that. Because justice feels like oppression for those who've always had the upper hand and want to keep it that way. See you on another time and another day while I continue on discussions that matter the most. Bye.